we cannot do it on our own. We don't even know what our inclinations are. You cannot judge according to your education today. The education is misplaced. Every Shudra gets inclination. Every Shudra gets idea that I am something I am not. It's a world of cheaters and cheated. Everybody has an idea what he is and what he should do. My way to conduct Krishna consciousness. My way. So when there is no guidance, somebody who can actually tell you, oh, this may be your inclination, but just following your inclination doesn't make you happy. You should follow the instruction of spiritual master. And that includes, sometimes surrendering your inclination, giving it up. For now, maybe you can use it later, maybe not. Therefore, pure devotee is ready to do anything, anytime for Krishna. That's a very high level actually. Usually we work along our inclinations. That's the start. But in the ideal state we should be ready to surrender and do for Krishna the needful. So, this is actually how we can progress and be safe in Krishna consciousness, and how we can also handle and deal with our pre-programmed inclinations in this body. There's some questions about that.
I don't remember correctly the words, but you mentioned something about the spiritual master. He said he frees you from the attachment to our inclinations. I was wondering, how does he do that? Simply by giving us the instruction and then we follow?
No, he
or
gives
does he chastise and
No. He gives you also the strength to do something you thought you cannot do. And a real devotee is suffering from his inclinations. He's not enjoying them. He's suffering from these inclinations. Honest devotee always hear the same thing. He will tell you, look, that's what I got here. That's my conditioning. So, therefore, there is one ingredient needed, unflinching faith into the words of the spiritual master. When this is there, then one can overcome so many things. One has to be very careful about those who bring doubts around into the authority of the spiritual master. On the other side, no spiritual master should claim that you follow me blindly. We have Guru, Shastra and Sadhu. So one should never give up the reference of the Shastra by serving the Guru, and there is no Guru who will demand that, not at all. As a matter of fact, he is the representation of the Shastra. You take one of these three things out, you have a problem. How many devotees are so faithfully following Shastra but not having a Guru? Getting in trouble. You think, how can he get in trouble? He follows Shastra. He doesn't know how. There's so many instructions in the Shastra. And which one is really the most relevant to me? There are basic instructions, there are detailed instructions. Because we are dealing with universal scriptures which are applicable even for the whole universe. So something which is applicable to the demigods, let's drink Somarasa. That's not applicable to us. So there are so many instructions in the Vedas, you can get very confused.
So basically the instruction we should follow is remember Krishna, don't forget.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's the
then
most
we can
basic
be sure.
instruction.
Then we're sure.
Yeah. But how to do it in practice, how to do this. Therefore preferably you see actually in the Vedic times every village had a guru. It was standard. And everybody in the village knew that that some trouble, we go to the guru. There are different kind of gurus, but those gurus, who were residing in these villages were of course very knowledgeable about the local conditioning built in by the modes of material nature. and they could instruct people along that they can make a spiritual progress. It's not a chance that people take birth in a certain locations. They have a similar type of conditioning that's derived from a similar type of desire. Then society starts to function. Not this that we are sitting here every day and asking these questions. You're not supposed to ask these questions actually. You're supposed to get an answer and do it. This is important. That's the feeling we had serving Srila Prabhupada. Even we didn't use that opportunity because the system he set up was so powerful. And we had so much to follow that we didn't actually arrive at the point what to follow. The instructions were so clear, and the direction of the action was so clear. And of course there were problems all the time. When you put people together, there will be different opinions, there will be different ideas, things like this, unavoidable. But there was always ultimately the line, okay, Prabhupada wanted us to do this, so let's do it. It's still here, why not? So,
you talked about characteristics of Vana, and I was thinking if it's something that you use for food distribution, like you notice a person's nature, and then you handle them according to that nature.
Automatically it will be given to you. It's called empowered. End up on his feet, addressing a man, getting out of his car, going, Hari Yada! That's the greeting of the hunters in Germany. The man turned around and said, how do you know I'm a hunter? And I told him, this is yoga, this is all in these books, you can get one. He was very interested. Because he was not dressed like a hunter, he had no gun in a hand, nothing. I remember another one, I remember exactly the day and the town. It was a kind of skinny guy, he looked very depressed. I just turned around and he said, it's a hard time to be a teacher, isn't it? And he was like, how do you know I'm a teacher? And I told him, well, this is books, I always point to the books. The man was one of the very few people I talked on the street more like 5 minutes. That was my quota. 5 minutes, you buy the book or not. Especially, and if you don't buy the book, then 2 minutes. That was how I distributed lots of books. So, but this man, I spent quite a half an hour, 40 minutes. He told me his whole life. He ended up almost crying. And you know what he did at the end? He gave me his whole wallet. Just the whole wallet, he gave me. I told him, you don't want even the ID card back? And he said, oh yeah, the ID card, I need the ID card, thank you. He didn't even look what's inside. That's very rare moments in Sankirtan where you get very close to that person. They will give you anything. Oh, I had so many stories on Sankirtan like this. Not too many actually, but those I had were really powerful. I remember in one town called Lörrach. It's all the way in South Germany on the border to Switzerland. Just a few kilometers from Basel. And then I was on the German side, and it was just, I had one book more to distribute, actually, or 2 books, I don't remember exactly, but everything was closed already. It's a small town. The shops were closed, nobody on the street. There was only one big shopping house at the corner, It was not, even that was closed. Nobody was there, and devotees were waiting in a car. Come on, let's go. And I was thinking, I want to distribute this. And then I saw a car coming from the parking house, under the shopping house, there's a parking lot, garage. There's a car coming up, quite fancy Mercedes. Normally not that kind of cars I would stop or talk to. people driving them. Typical German. Just coming with a polished Mercedes up that road, out of the garage. It was going around like this. So he came up. I was saying, okay. Yeah. So I was just stopped the car, and he stepped on a brake, and I went to the window, hello, with my books. And he looked at me, and he pushed the button, unlocked the central lock of the car, and rolled down the window, And I said, oh, that's very nice. So I stuck the books in the car, and I was ready to give my theatrical performance. And he looked at me very seriously, extremely tired. The man looked at me and said, get in the car. And I was like, what? Shall I go in the car or what? He said, get in the car. So I just opened the door and sit next to him with my books. And he drove to the parking lot, just above, parked the car. And he was completely finished. He said, everything collapsed in my life. I'm the chief manager in the shopping house. My wife left me. I don't know where my kids even are. I hate this shopping house actually. I hate my wife. I hate everything. He was like crying actually. And I was sitting next to him like, okay, let's start to preach. And I put the books behind the steering wheel. And I let him talk. He just talked for 15 minutes. Oh, that misery and pain. So I let him talk, and then I explained, But, worse things happen to people, Like example, dying. Are you ready for that? That's going to be a good one. Because now you feel like dying, right? And he said, yeah, I feel I already died. Funny guy who was dying, really nicely dressed. And I feel already like I died. And I told him, that's a good feeling, isn't it? Because it's like you get realistic, right? All this craziness around you and all this. You feel like, you're already dead. Well, that's just a prelude, that's just the introduction to the real thing when it comes. And I talked to him for, 15 minutes and he bought all the books I had still in the bag. It was no problem for him to buy the books and not the essentials. That was like automatic. But then he actually could find somebody who could talk to, and he was, like this. The man was so grateful. It's one of the very few moments you get on Sankirtan. That's something you cannot enforce or create. You cannot enforce and create anything. It's just given to you by Krishna. You should be ready for this kind of moments. Then Krishna will enter. When we are ready, then Krishna will arrange around us so we can help people. Then we cannot help even ourselves. We are confused and without spiritual guidance. What do you want to help? You can help something. It's like doctors running around the hospitals, confused, and you go and, I have this disease, please, you have some medicine for me, and they run around, what disease? Yeah, that disease, and they run around, and the one finds a box with some medicine, and he gives you some bottles, they just take that, and then they run, they are so busy with themselves all the time, completely confused. I mean, what kind of hospital is this? How can you help? It's called the hospital. Therefore, usually in hospitals you find a very organized, calm atmosphere. Yeah. They have sometimes just a saying, loudspeakers, Mr. Miller, to the operation room, and this like that. And it's just quite mechanical actually, but it's organized. You cannot help people with the Chaotic hospital. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Fine.